All right. Well, hey, I'm Dan Lewkowicz.
I'm Zach Roesinger.
And together we're the co-creators of the CRE Pro Course. Today we have some incredible
CRE Pro Course! Woo!
That's right. That's right. So we've got a lot of knowledge bombs. We have a very valuable secret to having a better 2022 that we're going to bring in at the end of the live. So make sure you're staying for this. Keep in mind, if you're watching live, ask your questions, interrupt us, drop whatever information you want to drop in the sidebar. We'll make sure to answer all the questions. And if you're watching this on the rewind, don't worry. Zach, Levi, and I, we all get alerts every time somebody comments. And if you have any valuable information to add or you have any questions that we can answer, please drop them in the sidebar and we'll be sure to answer your questions. So, hey, without further ado, we've got an incredible individual today. His name is Levi Skinner. He is a CPA, although he mentioned to us last time he is no longer practicing, and that's probably because he is absolutely crushing it in commercial real estate. Levi's
he has mastered it, so he's moved on to the next. Sorry,
right.
Go ahead.
Moved on to the next level, and that's largely in part to the CRE Pro course. Levi's been following us on social media for a long time. He's been in the course for quite some time. He's actually been in our level 1 and level 2 mentorship programs, and on a weekly basis, we get together and.
And what do you do live? What do you do together, Levi? Let me just have you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about you, Levi.
Yeah, so obviously Levi Skinner, and I started in commercial real estate 2019. Born and raised in Springfield, but into commercial real estate and enjoying it. I'm an investor as well. But then what Dan and I do is we just, I guess it's called Deal Desk, but we just go through deals. You know, we talk about what we're seeing in our markets, what we're doing to generate deals. But not only that, we talk about how to underwrite deals. You know, I came to him. That was one of my pain points is, hey, I want to learn how to underwrite well. Dan knows how to do it well. So I talked to him and we dive into deals and see, how do you look at this lease? How do you look at this building? What are the nuances of that? So that's what we've been diving into for the past couple months.
So it sounds like you are, as we call them here, the CRE Pro course, a hashtag Dan fan. Tell me a little bit more about this underwriting process. What kind of deals are you analyzing? You don't have to give us the specifics, of course, because, sometimes those are hush hush, but that's the sort of one-on-one familiarity and trust and confidence that you've given to CRE Pro. We've hopefully given you value back, but tell me a little bit more about the kind of deals and what that underwriting process looks like with the CRE Pro course.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of both. It's deals that I bring him that I, may or may not know. Specifically, we start talking about quick service restaurants. It started out as another asset type, kind of him talking about the medical office space. And he just talked to me about medical office space, his experiences in it. And then, it started to evolve into I was bringing him deals. And, we talked about, okay, quick service restaurants, what is the typical lease type? What are some nuances to look for in it? Average length of it, typical rents, typical word, verbiage added in those leases. And we're able just to read through those, look through them. And that way I know whenever I go to a quick service restaurant owner, that I can talk to them and know the verbiage in the leases and add value to them instead of just, calling them on a regular cold call and hoping and praying that I know all the verbiage.
Well, let me ask you, Dan, this is a question for you. As we're on Coffee with CRE Closers, podcast name dropping soon, CRE Closers right here, right in the room today. Dan, tell me a little bit more about your experience with Levi coming to you. I know he's on the live here, live in color with us today, but how much knowledge did he come in with? What kind of mindset did he come in with? And I know this is kind of weird, Levi, because you're on the call or on the show here, but I think it's great because I know how much Dan respects you, but I also know that you came from the CPA position or CPA as an accountant and then came over to commercial real estate. Tell me a little bit more about that experience, Dan.
So it's been really a great experience for myself as well. I've learned so much from Levi, and we've had a lot of fun getting to know each other and helping to motivate each other. When Levi came in, I would say that he was focused it seemed to me, pretty exclusively on just a few asset classes in commercial real estate, which is fine. A lot of people do that. And he was seeing, success locally in his market with shopping centers and with some, vacation rentals and stuff like that. So when we started working on our mentorship together, we discussed what his goals were and what he was looking to accomplish. And in addition to underwriting deals himself and being able to really walk away from this program and be independent, which is the goal, that was a big thing for him. And so we focused a lot on deal analysis. Now, in addition, Levi and I discussed kind of opening up his horizons, teaching him about quick service restaurant, how to underwrite those leases, medical office buildings that he had mentioned with those Mercy Ones. And one of the things he wanted to do right away was take a dive into a lease and an offering memorandum and understand why I chose a specific cap rate, which again, in the course, we go through lease analysis and underwriting and putting together proposals, but we specifically mention that cap rate analysis is something that really needs to be done with someone who has that knowledge, because it's an art and it's a skill. It's taking data, it's taking past experiences and really putting a number onto to a feeling in many cases. So we did that for a number of deals, and Levi kept just grasping more and grasping more and grasping more. And now I think, we're at a point where Levi every week is coming to me and saying, hey, Dan, listen, this is what I did last week. Can we talk about it? Hey, this is an interaction I had with this client, or this is a gift I gave that client. What's your experience like in this capacity and in that capacity? And really, it's allowed Levi in real time to be able to have that support from kind of a senior brokerage team so that he can run his brokerage more effectively.
That's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. Where it's at some point we all hit a point where you can only research so much online. You can only try to do so much online. How amplified was that effect with you, Levi? Where doing that one-on-one with Dan, being able to ask those questions about, as Dan mentioned, the cap rates or how to underwrite a property. How effective was that to do it on a one-on-one basis after you'd already gone through the CRE Pro course? You had that basic, the base knowledge, and then you moved on to the mentorship, and then we're on to the next levels past that, right?
Yeah. So it was invaluable, to say the least. So, I mean, coming from CPA background, I kind of know numbers, more or less. Still not the best at it, but I know numbers. And the thing with commercial real estate, Dan always says it's more of an art than a science. So I knew how to underwrite them, but then those cap rates were giving me issues. And so I was able to go to Dan and say, look, Dan, like, why are you pricing it the way you're pricing it? What are you doing? What are you seeing? And he's able to walk me through what he's seeing, what he's doing. And then I'm able to then go take that to my clients and the leases I look at and be like, okay, I know this nuance, causes the value to increase a little bit. Maybe this rent increase isn't quite high enough. So it's going to, maybe not add as much value or be as valuable as others. So it allowed me to kind of talk the talk a little bit more and learn how to evaluate deals better.
And that's such an important point, is that I find that it's incredible. Coaching a lot of people in commercial real estate, I find that knowledge is often not the aspect that is lacking amongst students when they're going and taking it to the next level. A lot of times it's just that confidence, and that confidence is acquired not only by having the knowledge, but by practicing with it. So if Levi and I can sit there and look at a lease and look at an offering memorandum and then look at 5 or 6 others, or just discuss the nuances and the differences between, let's say, for example, a great example here is we looked at 2 or 3 Wendy's leases, and I told Levi, I said, hey, I'm throwing you a curveball here. These leases are from the same tenant, similar aspects to the deal. However, there's some major nuances in, the rental abatement clause and the rental bumps, as well as some guarantee language that's different. Let's underwrite these and see where the cap rates fall. And really, that's the beauty of commercial real estate brokerage. When you underwrite one Wendy's lease, you kind of have to figure out, based on what the market is doing, where the cap rate is. When you underwrite another one, then you have your own deal that you can compare it to. When you're doing 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 of these a year, you really know the market. And that's what separates, I believe, commercial real estate from residential real estate brokerage. It's one of the many things. So in residential, we're actually dealing with a major lawsuit right now. I don't know if people know about this, but the MLS, the multi-list service, and RealComp are getting into huge fights because they don't want to allow sold comps to be accessible to anyone anymore, which is, to me, is super scary. As a commercial real estate broker, I don't share my data with CoStar or with LoopNet or with Crexy. I just don't. I am the data. If somebody wants to know the value of a Wendy's in Michigan, they have to call me because I know the market. The data aggregators don't. And that's why the training in this industry is so important, because you're not going to be able to go onto an MLS or go onto a CoStar and say, oh, spit out a cap rate. It just doesn't exist. You have to really understand it and be a professional in order to put a cap rate on a deal.
Let me ask you, Levi. So you made this transition into commercial real estate. One of the questions we get a lot of times from CRE pros, from people thinking about taking the course or thinking about doing the one-on-one mentorship, is they're like, they ask us. So that's where the whole genesis of the course really came from, and the whole CRE Pro course or pro environment came from, is they said, look, you guys seem to really enjoy your job. You seem to like what you do. You get pumped up all the time on the show. You're always talking about, as Dan just was, how exciting it is day to day. What in commercial real estate drew you in? Because I remember talking to you about this before, where you were like, yeah, accounting was great, and it would have provided a great opportunity for me and my family. And what drew you in particular to commercial real estate, or a career in commercial real estate?
Mm-hmm. So what drew me, or what threw me into real estate first was
threw you in, not drew you in. I like it.
There you go.
Was the investing side. So it wasn't quite commercial. I was investing in single family homes, short-term rentals, executive rentals.
Okay.
But I enjoyed kind of finding out the deals, how to make deals work, kind of the negotiating, that aspect of it. I really enjoyed that. And then, with my CPA job, it just wasn't for me. It's a great career. I just learned it wasn't for me. So naturally, I was like, hey, let's dive headfirst into this real estate and really learn how to underwrite, how to evaluate deals. So that's when I joined up with my brother, who's in commercial real estate, and then now we're at our own brokerage as well. So that's kind of how I got there. But then what drew me in was just I enjoy the business of real estate. It's a fun asset class. You never know what you're going to do or what you're going to see day in and day out. You might know, what you're going to do, but everything's new. Every deal is a little bit different here and there. So it's just fun and keeps things exciting, and it really excites me each and every day.
Absolutely. So it's a big draw, right? If you're looking for something that's exciting, entertaining, it's profitable, right? I mean, it's one of the things that we love about commercial real estate, and we get this all the time, is like, hey, I've got a passion. Like, for example, Dan out yesterday in his Viper, cruising around. He's a big Viper. Dan, the Viper man. He's all about the Vipers, and he's all about his family, and all these things have allowed us in commercial real estate to spend more time doing the things that we love with the people that we love, and loving our profession, showing up every day, because sometimes it's a grind. We all know that. Not always great to go through every underwriting deal. Sometimes it doesn't work out and it's heartbreaking, but other times you're hitting those highs, those peaks. And so I think that's one of the reasons I love commercial real estate. I love brokering commercial real estate. Dan, what would you say, other than the Viper collection that you're amassing? What other thing drives you in commercial real estate?
Well, let me just take a side note on that. So first of all, I didn't take my Viper down to the border of Michigan, Ohio yesterday, because it was ice and pretty much freezing around here. But I did go for a friend of mine. I did go look at a vehicle. I didn't broker the transaction because I just wanted to add value and have fun. But I helped him to analyze it and to look at it, compare it to other deals in the market, see if there were any blemishes on it, see if there were any problems, and he's going to buy it, which is really cool. And that whole thing, I wanted to bring this up because the model.
I think the lines froze. I think it was so cold in Michigan that the lines froze. or maybe he's just giving us a long pregnant pause. But in any,
I like to have
he's
fun.
Back. All right.
I like to have fun. I like to have freedom. I like to make sure that I can spend time with my wife and my kids and family and vacation and all that. And commercial real estate brokerage is really the key for that for me, because it allows me to be remote and mobile. It allows me to, Zach, you and I see each other only a couple times a year. Levi, you and I have never yet met in person. And it's the same thing with my clients and with the locations of the buildings. We sell all over the country. So it really allows us to have that freedom. And that's one of the reasons that Zach and I are so passionate about sharing the secrets of the CRE Pro course with everyone, because they've changed our lives, and we want to help change yours as well.
Hey, I know we've got a lot of people in the chat. On the side, just wanted to say hello to our friend John Vincent. John's been on the show before, and I think just awesome dude. And we've got some questions about will this be recorded? Look, you're here live, baby. Ask your questions. If you have one for Levi, if you have one for Dan or Zach, just throw them out there. Or if you just have one for the general CRE Pro community. One of the things I think was great about CRE Pro in particular, and now that we can address this on Coffee with Closers, Levi, tell us a little bit more about like the network effect of joining the CRE Pro. I would call it a family, but we sometimes call it a tribe or as a member. And you're a platinum member, so man, you're at the top of your game. Tell me a little bit more about like what that experience has been, because Dan and I have only seen it from the inside, right? We just know it because we were here day one, minute one. But you've been following Dan for a while on social media. You've been coming to our lives, and now you're working one-on-one with us. So, yeah, tell me a little bit more about what that network has meant or some of the effects that it's had.
Yeah, so the big thing for me is I try to surround myself with guys that are wanting to grow and wanting to take that next step day in and day out. Obviously, you guys are that, but then also the community that you guys have created are the same thing. You know, these guys are wanting to level up each and every day. They're wanting to be the best versions of themselves. And so that's what it's been so far with this community. You know, talking with you guys, I actually hopped on a podcast with Slow-Mo, right?
Yeah.
Slow-Mo,
yeah.
on.
So
that was cool to watch. That was so cool to watch.
That came just from a live event, you know, being the CRE Pro. He just texted, we texted each other and he said, hey, you want to hop on? So I think I hopped on in like 30 minutes or something like that. But it's fun being around those guys because they're always going to be pushing you. They're always going to be helping each other out. And that's the type of environment and community that I want.
Very nice. Very nice. So, hey, Zach, there's a question coming in. This one's from Satoshi Atumas. Levi Skinner, CPA. What's the biggest thing you've gotten from the mentorship program through the CRE Pro course? Good question.
Yeah. So honestly, the biggest thing is that the best way for me to summarize it is I took a ton of knowledge that I would have gained for 2 to 3 years, and I shortened it into 6 months, 8 months. That's with being able to talk with Dan. You know, I could have gone out and read through every single deal that I could get my hands on that was posted. And I still do that. But with Dan, I was able to shorten that. And he has so much experience that he was able to tell me or walk me through deals to where I can better understand them more quickly and get out in front of clients quicker and actually know what I'm talking about. So that was a big thing for me. And one of the biggest benefits is having that direct line to Dan to talk about deals and know the in and outs of commercial real estate deals and underwriting.
Love it.
The underwriting aspect, I love that you mentioned there, Levi. And this is one that has come up. We have an agent that I won't name the brokerage, but is coming from a brokerage saying, hey, I'm not getting the support that I need in my senior staff, but I really want to do more underwriting. I really want to do my own deals. Zach, how do I do that? And they're already in the CRE Pro course. They're going through, they're getting pumped up about it. And I said, look, here, everybody has this opportunity and option available to them. Jump onto, and I sent him the link for this. It was inside of LoopNet. It was, in fact, it was inside of CoStar. I sent him the CoStar report on it, but I said, go to LoopNet and look at the deal from the perspective of an investor. Then underwrite the deal because all of the offering memorandum is on LoopNet. So download that. And then he said, I want a more thorough analysis. So in this case, we've got Dan here who is able to go through that deal in real time with somebody who needs more help in underwriting, or not just needs, but truncates their learning period, just like you did, Levi. It's just a brilliant use of time. If you think about how much we make per hour, per minute, per day, whatever it is, the time that you spend to truncate from your first listing to your first closing, that could mean all the difference in surviving in commercial real estate brokerage. I think that's a brilliant investment of your time and of your money. Would you say so, Levi? Is that a pretty good summary of the value that Dan's providing?
Oh yeah, it was perfect, perfectly summarized. So yeah.
And that's another important point, is that this community aspect. I mean, Levi was on Shlomo's show. I didn't tell either you or Shlomo Aaron this. Shlomo has this show, Unsolicited Advice, with Shlomo Aaron. I was in the studio watching the whole thing, and I had to be restrained by the people in the studio not to just bomb you guys in the middle of the episode and jump in. But it was so cool to see you guys learning and teaching things to other people. And really, without CRE Pro, none of us would have known each other. So it's really cool. And that's something that we want to stress is if you're in brokerage or you're in commercial real estate investing, don't ever go it alone. Okay. The whole purpose of the CRE Pro community is so that you're never alone, so that you can reach out to guys like myself and girls like Zach Roesinger, also individuals like Levi Skinner. But in all honesty, that community aspect, in all seriousness, that community aspect is huge. I mean, I know brokers that I'm now working with that have come to me and say, hey, Dan, if not for CRE Pro, I would have been lost and I wouldn't have had that community that allowed me to step it up and take it to where I am now. So that's super important. And for all the CRE Pro course participants and mentorship students that are watching, please, by all means, reach out to people like myself, Levi, Shlomo, Zach, Herman, all of these great stewards and stewardesses of the CRE Pro course. So, hey, Levi, I know Zach jumped off for a minute. I'm sure he'll be back on. He's probably multitasking or doing something crazy at the same time, feeding his new puppy. I don't know. But, what else can you tell us? Can you give us maybe some advice or some information that you've learned over the last year that you think really helped you that other students can take with them to be successful?
Yeah. So it's not necessarily directed towards commercial real estate itself, but the biggest thing that I've learned is to invest in yourself. Last year was the first year I really did that. I started spending some money on really books, and then the community CRE Pro course, a couple other masterminds that I'm a part of. And I saw my growth really skyrocket in terms of personal and then also career growth. Just because I became more confident, I realized what I wanted. I was learning each and every day. So it got my mind in a different mindset. And it just allowed me to absorb more, be adding value to everyone. That's, I think, one of the biggest things for me was getting around people that are like-minded and investing in yourself. That's the best investment you can make.
The network effect. I love it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I was on a show this week. I was telling people, if you're not getting the best ROI from investing in your own business and your own self, then you're doing something wrong. Yourself and your business should be the biggest ROI out of any investment you make. All right. So if you're there and you're doing well and you're saying, well, do I invest in myself or not? If the answer is no, then either you're crazy or you're looking at the wrong training program or the wrong mentorship program. Because when you look at something and it's an investment in yourself or your company, it should be an unequivocal yes. And, it's something I've talked to Levi about. If Levi's going to make an extra $100,000 from our mentorship, is it worth the several $1,000s a month that he spends? Absolutely. And then on top of that, he's now going to interact with and meet other people in our course, in our community, and do deals together. And then now the Levi of 2022, after the Levi that he created in 2021, it's a whole different Levi. He's already on a different level. So that investment that he made in 2021 is going to stick with him for years. And had he waited a few years to make that investment, it would have been really unfair to himself. So Levi, kudos to you for investing in yourself. I know that that's something that I started doing a number of years ago, and I really saw tremendous benefit from it. So to everyone out there, go on LinkedIn, go on social media, find me one successful person that tells you not to invest in yourself. You won't find it.
I got another one for you, Dan, and I think that Levi is a good example of this. And Levi plus Shlomo, both friends of CRE Pro Platinum members. Let me show you an example of this, and the thing that you do really great, Dan, which is putting yourself out there, right? It costs nothing to launch a podcast, costs nothing to reach out to somebody that you consistently watch as a podcast or on video, StreamYard, or a live stream, and reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to come on your show. We get a lot of times people are like, yeah, but I don't know enough. Well, and we just did this last week, or we just had this conversation last week, Dan. Someone said, I don't know enough to go onto someone's show as a commercial real estate expert. And I said, jump into the CRE Pro course. You'll get the baseline. You'll know everything that you need to know to answer questions on a podcast, feel confident going into that podcast. And here's the killer. Here's the critical element that everybody should pay attention to. It's a one-to-many right? You and I can only have one conversation back and forth on the phone. But if you go on a podcast, you go on Shlomo Aaron's podcast, you go on a Dan on Top, you come on to the CRE Pro Coffee with Closers. If you come on, you're now in front of thousands, tens of thousands of people to share your message, to share your knowledge, to tell people what you're trying to do. And you're going to find that people are going to reach out to you after this show. They're going to reach out to you inside the network, and they're going to say, hey, I saw you the other week on Shlomo's podcast. I really like what you said about QSR restaurants and the evolution of the QSR business. I have a portfolio of QSR restaurants I'd love for you to underwrite. I don't know if I'm going to, sell them. I'm not sure if now's the time or whatever it is, but you expressed, or you had a certain amount of knowledge on that show that it's surpassing mine. And I trust, know, like, and trust you because you are a CRE Pro. You're a friend of Shlomo, a friend of Dan, friend of Zach, and now they're reaching out to you. So my suggestion in 2022 is put yourself out there. Make that effort to get on as many podcasts, as many video streams, as much mass communication as you can. And as Dan always says, and he says inside the course, consistency is key. Shlomo also just put that in the comments. Consistency is key. So when you're posting on LinkedIn, again, a one-to-many, post consistently, post quality content, and then drive value.
There you go.
And 2022 is going to be the best year of your life.
There you go, Zach. So if you don't mind, I'm going to drop just a little knowledge from the course because we've been talking a little bit about this. First of all, I noticed that Michael Bull, CCIM, thank you so much for joining us, Michael. He says that investing in training for yourself and your team is absolutely your best investment. Michael, if you are open to it, drop in the sidebar some of your advice, some of the things you've learned through investing in yourself and your team. We'd love to hear it, and we'd love to see you in the course. So I wanted to add here, we mentioned before that Levi and I underwrite leases. We look through deals. We figure out what the cap rates are. We compare, we contrast, we ask questions, we answer, we do all this stuff. So we have a comment coming in, and then I'll continue my thought. Jacob Blairfield said, I just jumped on this. Please let us know what the course goals are. What should be expected from the course? I'm going to go with that, and then we'll continue on this point. So great question. So the course goals are to teach you everything you need to know to become a top commercial real estate investor and or broker. So if you want to know what to expect from the course, expect massive accelerated growth. Expect having a 2021 like Levi did and springboarding into 2022 like he is. Expect to be part of a community of great people, doing deals, getting more involved, learning, and most importantly, being able to add value to your clients and to other people that you interact with. Very good question. Jacob, we would definitely love to see you in the course. So back to what we were talking about a minute ago. So through all of this underwriting, one of the things we teach in the CRE Pro course, and that my agents have found to be really, really beneficial, is streamlining systems and processes so that you can scale and be more efficient. So a great example of one that we discussed in the CRE Pro course is the lease abstract form that we put together. So a lease could be 10 pages, it could be 40 pages, it could be 200 pages, and it could be all over the place. But there's really like 7 or 10 different key nuances that are really important when underwriting a lease. Things like the term left on the lease, the guarantor, the rental escalations. Obviously, there's other information like the demographics, the traffic counts, distance decay between other locations, what is the average household income, population density, et cetera, et cetera. But when we're looking at a lease, what we've created is the CRE Pro Lease Abstract form, which allows you to fill out in real time and going through a lease, those 7 to 10 different nuances, so that you can then take that lease and put in your file, whether it's a real file or it's a OneDrive or a Google file. And then you're now working off of only a one-page document. And when you want to compare and contrast assets, that one-page document is right in front of you. And when you're building that proposal, you're not wasting time flipping through hundreds of pages. All that information is in front of you. So just as a side note, that's just a CRE Pro course tip that is taught in the course, and it's something that Levi and I do on a regular basis in the mentorship program. Christine Hisu says, I'm interested, and I apologize if I pronounced that last name terribly. My last name is literally 3 times as long and probably a lot harder to pronounce. So, I'm guilty of the same thing other people do to me. So I apologize. So I'm interested in the CRE Pro course and community. How do I get more information? Great question. Zach beat me to the answer, and there it is. CREProcourse.com. Go to CREProcourse.com. Reach out to myself. Reach out to Zach. Do yourself a favor. Do even better than that. Reach out to Levi. Reach out to Shlomo.
I was going to say, Levi, do you have a problem with people mispronouncing your last name? Because Dan and I butchered all the time. I think Skinner, you got it, man. I mean, I think most people got it. So that's a
good
absolutely
question here,
great
Zach.
question.
Is there a yearly membership? So there is no yearly membership. In fact, when you register for the CRE Pro Course, you get unlimited access, right? You can do it night and day, 6-7 days a week. You have 90 days of that unlimited access. If you need longer, you reach out to us. We can give you an extended program. Now, we have other programs as well. Like Levi, for example, is in a mentorship program. He was in a level 1 program. Now he's in a level 2. And that for him, he chooses to do that every single week. And that's something he's been doing for a long time and hopefully will continue. We have also mastermind programs that are 13-week programs every single week. By the way, Zach, I think we have a few spots still open in our mastermind. That is the next mastermind that's starting. The great thing about CRE Pro is that the courses and programs that we've designed, we didn't just like pull them out of thin air, pull them out of our hat. We made these courses and these programs and specifically designed them exactly the way that they are because you wanted them. So people reached out to us. They wanted a course program. We created that course. They wanted a mentorship. We created that. They wanted a mastermind. They created it. So there is no yearly membership at this point. However, if you go to our website, creprocourse.com, you can see all of the incredible information about the course. I know Zach just dropped a link. Here's a very simple link. If you want to be in the mastermind, this is a life-changing mastermind teaching you about deal analysis, doing your own deals, syndicating deals, and investing in deals. Go to mastermind.creprocourse.com. That's mastermind.creprocourse.com. Thanks for that, Zach. And now Michael Bull follows back up. He says, because I asked him, I said, hey, tell us a little bit about the training that you invested in. And he said, the brokers investing in their own training do much better, much faster. This is coming from a CCIM, Michael Bull. Thank you for this. Again, I'm going to read that again. The brokers investing in their own training do much better, much faster. Okay. And that Levi's a great example. I'm a great example. Zach's a great example. Consistent training. It's what we learn after we know it all that makes the difference. So true. Well said there. Amazing how people think this is the one industry you can get in and make it without getting training. This is the one industry where you can get into it with no prior training and make billions of dollars. But everyone who does that invests in themselves and invests in that training. So thank you so much. Please, more information, go to creprocourse.com. Michael, thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Hey, I want to give you a shout out there, Michael Bull. We like your show, and we'd love to have you on our show as well. I'm going to drop the show notes in the notes for yours on the side. You provide value-packed entertainment and really some insights that I think is very valuable. We love your participation here on Coffee with Closers. Fantastic insights there, Michael.
Yeah, so listen, we want to be respectful of everyone's time. We've got about, let's say, another 10, 11 minutes left. If anyone has any questions, drop them in the sidebar. Zach, anything you want to talk about, or should we drop some more knowledge bombs, some more keys from the course?
No, I do want to talk about one thing in particular. I'd love for the two things. Tonight is the national championship of football. So if you have a favorite team today, now is the time to call it out live before the game happens. Tell us in the sidebar who you're going for tonight. The second thing is I have a lot of investors and a lot of property owners right now reaching out to me because they said, look, I kind of foresee that I foresee that in the next year, there's going to be an increase in interest rates, ergo an increase in cap rates. Do I hold? Do I sell? And I've just had a flood this first week of January 2022 of people looking to sell. They think, okay, we may be at the apex right now. I'm looking to sell. How do I do that? So let me ask you, Levi, just as CRE Pro, somebody comes to you today and they say, I'm thinking about selling. What would you say is the best way to get them from thinking about to listing with you and then you selling the property?
Yeah. So the first thing I like to do is get inside the owner's head. Just being honest, because
that can be a scary place.
I go back to them and say, well, what are your goals? If they're sitting there and they're saying, if they're terrified of the market downturn and they're saying, well, I'm just scared of interest rates rising. This deal will still work if the interest rates rise in 5 years after my balloon payment. And they just want to sell because they think it's an apex and it doesn't fit their goals, then, I'll come to them and say, look, if this doesn't align with your goals of, whatever this investment is, then why would we, is there an underlying issue with it? Mm-hmm. I try to approach it as, hey, I'm going to be an advisor and I'm going to be helping you along the way. And that way I'm making sure that they're getting the best value possible because they know they're sticking with their goal. They're not just making a rash decision. It's just, hey, let's stick with the goals. Let's do the goals. And then we can, from there, I believe if I add enough value that they will naturally come back to me and say, hey, you did a great job in either talking me off the ledge, getting me focused back on my goals. And that way they'll say, hey, we want to list with you. We do want to sell this. And then from there, I can do the abstract. I can add the marketing to help better sell their asset.
Yeah, let me highlight this because, and Dan, I love for your perspective on this. You're a big deal maker, and I would love your insight on this. To walk through that process there for you, commercial real estate pros and those that are looking to get into commercial real estate, what Levi just said there is very clutch, which is first do that assessment and analysis of the person looking to buy or sell real estate, the future client, the prospect, whatever you want to call them. So do that analysis with them, find out their goals, their intentions, what will make them happy, what will provide them with value. Once you have that, then you get into actually looking at listing the property. In this case, you're going through that analysis, the initial analysis. In a lot of cases, when we're selling real estate, we call that an offering memorandum. So you're starting to come up with the initial assessment and analysis without going really deep into it. Then you're going to go back to that client. You're going to go back to that seller and say, we need a formalized listing agreement because I'm not going to do this for free. And I don't want you to take the material and go to some other broker. So lock in. If you feel confident about yourself, and you should, lock in that listing agreement. Make sure that it's for a period of time within which you can sell that property. I believe you can for the price that you talk to and walk through with data points. Walk through that with your client. From there, then we're getting on to marketing the property, and we have a full course on that as well, right,
Yep.
Dan, where we're going from listing to launch and then to closing. And we cover that in the CRE Pro course, but we cover that more in depth inside of our tier 2 support. So all of that process all the way through to the closing. And then what happens at the closing, Dan? I love this. What happens at the closing?
Yeah, I mean, most people
pros?
think that the closing is the end, but for CRE Pro, the closing is just the beginning, because that's where, you can go celebrate. I don't discourage celebration at all. Believe me, I celebrate. I go travel. I buy things for myself and my family. At that point, it's so important. Take that extra 10 minutes. Take that flyer that you made months ago when you got that listing, stamp a just closed on it, and blast it out to your network. Okay, this is a huge secret. When you have a closing, you have an opportunity now not only to leverage your past success for other owners of the same tenanted property, right? So if I sell a Tire Kingdom in South Florida, you better bet I'm sending that flyer to every Tire Kingdom owner in Florida and other surrounding states. That's number one. Number two, I just sold a deal on this corridor, right? There's hundreds of other buildings within a few miles. I should be calling every single one, emailing every single person. Hey, just sold a deal in your market. I'm an expert. Reach out to me. That's super important. And Levi, you said something that I really love. You said right away that if you add the value, everything else follows from that. And we believe in that so strongly that it's our motto, right? Provide value and everything else follows. It's really the truth. If you get up every morning and you're a value provider, you will never have to work another day in your life. The money will just come. Now, before we go into the next topic, because I know we're running out of time, I want to just take a moment to recognize Anthony, who has a big comment here. He says, John V. By the way, John Vincent, he's been on the LinkedIn Live with us. He's a great guy. If you don't know Johnny V, reach out to him. He's awesome. Great energy. So Anthony, and this is a perfect example, Anthony and John getting to know each other through CRE Pro. John V, hey brother, best advice I can give you is don't wait. Join today or this week. I wish I would have started years ago. I'm sitting here watching this and boom, here comes my boss in to tell me, dude, you'll never make it in that. What he doesn't understand is that he's a stepping stone for me to start my life. CRE Pro Course will transform everything for yourself. And that's so important. I mean, all of us have worked for other companies, right? None of us had our own company, coming out of the crib, right? Or coming out of the wound. We all had to work to get here. And there are many stepping stones in life. If you are surrounded with people that do not embrace who you are and help support you in creating and co-creating the person that you want to be, leave as soon as you can, right? CRE Pro is an organization that's designed to support people in becoming their best selves through knowledge, education, community awareness, service, all that stuff. And that's really what we're providing. So please, thank you for that, Anthony. Reach out to us.
Put two things on that, Dan.
CREProcourse.com.
Let me highlight two things. So we're in the part of the Great Resignation, right? People are working from home. Commercial real estate is a perfect example of something that's completely remote, right? Where the more time you spend in the field, touring buildings, working with your clients one-on-one, the better you do. My father always said that. He said the greatest brokers are never in the office. And that's very true, right? They're with their clients. So number one, get out there and meet with your clients. Go out and tour buildings. Go out and see real estate. Start evaluating it. But the second part of that, Dan, is that not only are you creating as a commercial real estate agent or broker, not only when you get into commercial real estate first and you're listing properties and you're selling them, great. You're a solo agent. Maybe you have a team. But eventually you are creating a business, right? You're creating opportunity for other people, just as Anthony, and we love Anthony there. He is a CRE Pro as well. He's taken the course and he participates in a lot of our events. One of the things that I love about him is he really embraced the idea that it's very possible to make that transition from another field or from a position that you don't particularly find appealing for whatever reason. And then you get into commercial real estate, you love what you do, and you create business for other people. Not only are you actually working with other people, like let's just say financing or insurance or any part of the commercial real estate transaction, but eventually you're building your own team. Yep. That team, you're providing opportunities for you to mentor and help others achieve the life that you did as well. And I know that's what you and I, Dan, are doing every day. We love the people that are working with us, for us. And I call them teammates because I don't think that there's really that hierarchy. They're coming to us for mentorship,
right?
But I'm treating them, just as Anthony said, I'm treating them with kindness, respect, but I'm also driving them, right? I want them to be successful. I want them to reach their goals, just like Levi said. Find out what someone's goals are. Ask them. And if they don't have that, ask them to create that, the list of it, and then help them achieve those goals. That's what we're here to do, to provide value, help people achieve their goals.
So that's one of the things that Levi and I, when we first started, he said, "Hey, Dan, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself." He told me, and he said, "Hey, can you tell me about your background?" I said, "Hey, we're on a mentorship call. You sure you want me to like spend the hour talking about my life?" He said, "No, I want to know." And I was like, "Okay, cool, whatever."
Dan goes, "Okay, talk about me. Okay, I'll do that."
Exactly, right. So I remember very quickly, I told Levi a lot about my family and our children and all that stuff. And I mentioned to him many times, especially in the beginning, like, you are creating the version of yourself that's going to provide the best access to the world for your future children, should you decide to have them. You're going to be setting an example for them. You're going to be able to teach them. You're going to be able to train them. You're not only just going to give jobs to the people in your brokerage or help your clients make money or add value to everyone that you come in contact with, but you're going to create a better opportunity for your kids. And, that's something that really keeps me going. I just, our children are going to be here in a couple of weeks in Michigan for the winter break. And, I was recently with my daughter in New Jersey a couple of weeks ago. My oldest daughter, who's 12, Esty, she actually, Zach, she comes in to some of our live events as a guest watching them. And she's 12 years old. So one of the things she said to me,
because you're putting her to work, man. I know this.
I am not officially putting her to work. She does a lot of things, but it's all training. And yeah, exactly. So, but on that note, Zach, we were talking, and you know what she said to me? We're talking about what she wants to be when she grows up. And she's experimented with a few things. She wants to be maybe a teacher, wants to run a camp for special needs kids. One of the things that she really wants to do now is she wants to be a graphic designer so that she can design offering memorandums and property flyers.
That's awesome.
And it's really incredible because, she knows all about the course. She's seen it. She watches my show. And here's a 12-year-old girl that's like, oh, wow, I could do graphic design and help sell commercial real estate buildings from anywhere in the world with my freedom and, kind of make my own hours. Sign me up,
I love it.
And that's what people need to recognize. When you get into commercial real estate investing and brokerage, you have an opportunity to add value to other people, to create jobs, to build small businesses, and to be the guy or girl that when you walk in, someone, they're like, oh yeah, I know that person. They taught me this. I know that person. They sold me this building. I know that person. They gave me a job. And that is huge.
So as we wind down here, Dan, I really want to thank Levi for his time, but I also want to give you a minute here, Levi. Tell people, first of all, how they can connect with you. Why maybe one thing that you want them to reach out to you to connect with you with, and maybe drop one knowledge bomb on us here. What has helped you the most make that transition from accounting, from another profession, into commercial real estate at the success level that you're hitting right now, which is fantastic?
Yeah, so they can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's probably the best place. Just shoot me a message. Just love talking to anyone and everyone But with that, the one bit of advice I would say is, I didn't coin the term, but it's ready, fire, aim. So
is that why we get along so well, by the way?
Yeah.
You are very similar in that personality, right? Like you guys both just jump head on in. So ready, fire, aim.
Yeah, you've just got to go for it. If you enjoy something, go for it. And then from there, as you're learning, as you're, developing your skill set, you can adjust the goals as you go, but so many people try to get ready and then aim and then fire, and they get stuck in that aim. Well, if you fire first, you don't really have that luxury of waiting. You've got to figure out where you want to aim at. So that was my big thing, is I just kind of jumped into it and said, hey, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to fire, and I'm going to have to figure it out, because I'm going to be in the trenches.
I love what you said, and let me draw the parallel. This is the last thing I'll end in with for me, and Dan, I'll give you the final word here. But remember, it's ready, fire, aim. So ready, as in take the CRE Pro course, get that baseline, right? Understand the base. Then jump on in, right? Jump on in, and then you can do the mentorship alongside of a deal that you're working today, just as Levi is doing, right? Learn on the job, but accelerate that learning by taking it to the next level, and reach out to us. Our man Dan, cap us off here, my friend.
I love that. Ready, aim, fire. Zach, you made a very interesting analysis of that. You kind of extract ready, aim, fire. I wouldn't even have thought of the ready, but you're absolutely right. Without the knowledge and without the support, you're going to be firing in the dark, right? You don't want to do that. And that's so important. Today, you've got courses, you've got classes, you've got podcasts, streamcasts, you've got LinkedIn Lives. The information is there. If you're not ready, that's your fault. It's out there. You got to get ready. So definitely get ready. And then, like Levi and Zach said, go ahead and fire. The students that we see that have the most success in the CRE Pro course didn't just take the course, didn't just get into the mentorship. They actually went in there and they applied their learnings right away. Zach and I and Levi and others can help add value, right? But we can't do the deals for you. So my big piece of advice to follow up on that is that if you think now is the time, you're probably right. You might be wrong. Maybe yesterday was the time, but today's the next best time. So jump in there, get ready, go to creprocourse.com. If you've already gone there and signed up for the course, get in the mentorship program or the mastermind, get that readiness, and then start taking those strategic shots. It's not going to be perfect, but guess what? You've got Zach, you've got myself, you've got Levi, you've got other members in your community that are going to have your back and help you. So
that's a good point. In the sidebar, feel free to reach out. Remember, Dan and I and Levi will respond to all the questions, comments. Even if you're watching this on the rewind, reach out to us with your questions in the sidebar. Reach out to our network. We've got a really great people that showed up this morning with Coffee with Closers, CRE Pro Course Edition. Thank you very much for your time, Levi. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
For having me, guys.
To everyone watching this and to all the participants and supporters of the course, thank you. Zach and I created this course and all these systems because you asked for it, okay? And we will continue to create things as people ask for them. So please, by all means, ask the questions, reach out to us, get in the course, and let us know what we can do to add value. Guys, have a great Monday. Really appreciate it. Let's go out and have an awesome week.
Woo, baby!